Hello everybody, I'm Ukulele Jay, and I have with me my wonderful friend Ryan, and today we're doing another episode number 7 of Uke-n-Talk Vintage, and today we're going to talk about a really cool ukulele that is the Roy Smeck Vita, and it's the Soprano Concert Hybrid, and we'll explain to you exactly what that means. So Ryan, take it away.
Thank you, Jay. Indeed, this is a Vita uke, and there are some really unique things about this ukulele, and they're not seen that much out there. I think one of the biggest things is the very different body shape of this instrument. So we have a pear-shaped instrument, and sometimes people call this a teardrop, but I don't see it as a teardrop. Favila made the teardrop. This is certainly a pear-shaped instrument, and it does impact the sound a great deal.
Now I notice on this Vita uke there's an interesting sticker on the headstock, and I was curious, and I'm sure our viewers will be curious, is that the only sticker that you find on the Vita ukes, or were there other stickers as well to identify them?
There were others, but they were kind of an incarnation of this headstock sticker, but there are a couple different ones out there. We'll get a photo of it so that people can see a little bit more up close. This is the most common one, and it's pretty, as you look at it, it's pretty small. It says Vita, and in the middle it says Roy Smeck Uke.
And Roy Smeck's at an angle. You'll see that at the end of the video when we do our photography session. Now, I noticed this has some interesting tuners on it, and again, being a vintage instrument you acquired, not being the original owner, maybe you can talk about what it came with and what's on there now.
Yeah, I don't know that these are absolutely even original to this instrument. These are Waverly Tuners, which you do see on higher end vintage ukuleles from like the 30s or so. And it's got 3 of the same, and then one which is a different Waverly that's just the tiniest bit different, so probably made from a different year or something. That's how it came, that's what was on it. I cleaned them up, and they work fine. If I ever find the unique tuners that came on this harmony, I will try to grab some, but they're not seen very often. These may be original to this instrument, at least 3 of them. I just don't know.
Now the wood on the neck, is that mahogany that's used on the neck?
It's an all solid mahogany instrument, and this one, as you can see, also does not have a stacked heel. We've talked about that in some of our other videos. So it's carved from one piece of mahogany. You waste a lot of material actually not having 2 pieces to a heel, but that's okay with me.
And the fretboard is in really nice condition, a rosewood fretboard, and looks like real mother of pearl dots.
Yes.
As the fretboard markers. Anything about the frets? These aren't T frets, right?
These are bar frets. So this is these are relatively old instruments. They really date from the 30s, kind of late 20s into the 30s. So it was before T frets, at least on this particular instrument, were out there, and they had the machining to make T frets, or at least before Harmony had finished using all of their stock of bar frets. So they may well have existed, but this is what Harmony was using.
And I think one of the interesting features and being able to identify you have an authentic Roy Smeck Vita uke with not only the sound holes, which we'll talk about in a second, but the binding on this ukulele. When you first look at it, you think it might be a black, white, black purfling with a binding. And in close inspection, they used a binding on the outer end, it looks like, with just a black and white on the outer side. So you get that black, white, black look for the top. But it's almost like they took the binding and curved it over the top edge, which is interesting.
Yeah, and this really was Harmony's nicest instrument that they were making. It was their highest end build. They made some nice instruments, and they had a custom shop, I believe, and so some nice harmonies pop up, but this is really the best of what Harmony was producing. Interestingly, Roy Smeck, who was an incredible uke player, you can find his videos on YouTube, and just spectacular. He didn't often play his ukes. He loved Martin. He loved Martin above all else, so pretty much you find him playing Martin ukuleles, which speaks to the wonderfulness of the Martin ukulele. However, this very much has elements of Martin. The fretboard is very similar in width, and the quality of build of this instrument is very, very high, which is really nice. So we have all solid mahogany and very quilted mahogany. It's hard to see on my instrument a little bit because the finish is has seen a lot of wear, but you have lots of quilting all through that, and you can see it all over the sides. So this was really high quality mahogany. And then you have spruce on the top, which is interesting. I don't find a lot of ukuleles from this time which were using spruce for the top. And one problem with this spruce is it's really uncommon to find a Vita uke that hasn't cracked. You often get cracks coming down from the back of the seals, and mine indeed had that. And the spruce is so thin that unless it's been really well cared for, hasn't been played much, usually there's some issues with it.
And this the saddle looks like it's not probably the original saddle that's on there. And the reason I bring this up is because one of the things that Ryan and I were talking about is a lot of people tend to shy away from an instrument that may be either damaged or repaired. And there's been a lot of success with people rehabilitating instruments that may have sat on a table and never be played again, and have had repairs done. And this one has definitely had a repair or two or three.
I think this one's had probably 8 or 10 different repairs from cracks.
Yeah, and when you hear this, it's really amazing. So I just wanted to make a side note that if you do see an instrument that has been repaired, it may be one of the best players you ever pick up, and don't let that shy you away from picking up that vintage instrument you're looking to get.
Absolutely. I was quite surprised when I played it, how wonderful it sounds. There's so much space here for air to move, and it's just incredibly resonant. And I do believe it may have a replaced bridge. I don't know. But, also we didn't touch on these seal holes. And that is just really unique in the ukulele world. And I absolutely love them. So, rather than traditional F-shaped holes that you get on different instruments, they decided to make them shaped like seals.
And recently we've seen Ohana coming out with their style or their rendition of a Vita uke. And
they do a good job. I think those Ohana Vitas, I've played a couple of them. And they're really nice instruments, and they're modern instruments, so you don't run into some of the bumps and nicks that you do with vintage. So I would encourage people, if they like this instrument, but you don't want to spend the kind of money that it costs to get one of these, those Vitas are a really nice choice.
Good. Well, why don't we do a sound sample, and we'll wrap things up for this episode of Uke-n-Talk, and let's give it a go.
All right.
And that was all right. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Stay tuned for episode number 8 coming soon. Thanks.